All right, so get this. We're diving deep into Alzheimer's research today,
Oh, yeah.
and you are not going to believe the twist this story's taking.
Yeah.
Remember all that talk about amyloid plaques?
Oh, yeah.
Turns out it's way more complicated than we thought.
Hmm.
We got some fascinating sources suggesting we may have been barking up the wrong tree for decades,
Yeah, it's true.
at least partially.
The amyloid cascade hypothesis has been, the dominant theory for
Right.
so long.
Yeah.
That idea that
Mm.
these sticky amyloid plaques in the brain were the main culprit behind Alzheimer's,
Ah,
leading to all the cognitive decline.
yeah, it's like those plaques were clogging up the brain's circuitry.
Right.
Seemed pretty logical at the time.
Especially since they were first observed by Alois Alzheimer himself,
Right.
way back in 1906.
Yeah, in 1906. But then came the real head scratcher.
Billions of dollars poured into research, countless clinical trials
Right.
targeting amyloid,
Yeah.
and very few successes. To show for it, remember aducanumab?
Oh, yeah.
A lot of hope was pinned on that drug,
Yeah.
but it ultimately failed to outperform a placebo.
Talk about a scientific reality check.
Right.
So are we saying amyloid is totally off the hook?
Not necessarily. Amyloid might still be a factor,
Okay.
especially in some early onset cases,
Right.
but the evidence is mounting that it's not the be-all and end-all of Alzheimer's.
Okay.
And, this laser focus
Yeah.
on amyloid may have inadvertently overshadowed other promising areas of research.
So it's like we were so fixated on one piece of the puzzle, we overlooked crucial pieces
Exactly.
scattered all around.
Yeah.
So what are some of these alternative pathways
Well,
that are
look,
starting to gain traction?
one area generating a lot of buzz is the role of inflammation and immune dysregulation in the brain.
Okay.
So think of it this way. Chronic inflammation is like a slow burning fire
Okay.
in the brain,
Okay.
causing damage over time.
Right.
And we're not just talking about any old inflammation.
Yeah.
Researchers are finding specific inflammatory markers,
Okay.
like cytokines,
Okay.
that seem particularly elevated in Alzheimer's patients.
Cytokines, huh?
Yeah.
Sounds like something I should be paying attention to.
Yeah.
What else are we missing by just focusing on those pesky amyloid plaques?
Another piece of the puzzle that's becoming increasingly clear is the importance of vascular health.
Okay.
Turns out good blood flow to the brain is crucial
Right.
for cognitive function.
Yeah.
And we're not just talking about major events like strokes,
Right.
but also the health of the tiny blood vessels, the
Yeah.
capillaries that supply the brain with oxygen and nutrients.
So it's not just about preventing those big blockages,
Right.
but also making sure that the brain's entire transportation system is in tip-top shape.
Exactly.
This is all starting to feel less like a single bad guy and more like a complex web of interconnected factors.
Exactly. It's like a symphony orchestra
Oh, okay.
where all the instruments need to be in harmony for the music to sound right.
If one section is off,
Yeah.
the whole performance suffers.
Yeah, makes sense.
And get this, there are even more intriguing pathways
Really?
being explored.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, you've officially piqued my curiosity. Give me the rundown of these other pathways. What else is going on in there?
Well, we're talking about the brain's ability to, metabolize lipids and glucose,
Okay.
how proteins fold correctly.
Right.
Those processes are super important
Yeah.
for keeping those neurons firing properly.
Okay, so making sure the brain has the fuel it needs and that its proteins are properly assembled.
Exactly.
Makes sense. What else?
Then there's the fascinating world of gut microbes.
Hold on, gut microbes. You mean like the bacteria in our digestive system?
You heard that right?
How could those possibly be linked to Alzheimer's?
It might sound crazy,
Yeah.
but there's growing evidence that the gut microbiome
Yeah.
can influence brain health
Wow.
in ways we're only beginning to understand.
Some researchers believe that certain gut bacteria might release substances that trigger inflammation in the brain, or even disrupt the blood-brain barrier.
Wow, so the gut-brain connection is a real thing. I always thought that was just a trendy health buzzword.
Right.
This is also fascinating. I'm curious to hear more about these protein misfolding issues.
Yeah.
Is that like when proteins get crumpled up and can't do their jobs right?
That's a great way to put it.
Okay.
One of the key proteins
Yeah.
involved in Alzheimer's is called tau.
Right, tau. Okay.
When tau proteins misfold,
Mm-hmm.
they can form
Yeah.
tangles
Okay.
inside neurons,
Right.
disrupting communication and eventually leading to cell death.
So amyloid plaques outside the neurons, tau tangles inside. It's like a double whammy for the brain.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And to make matters even more intriguing, some scientists are investigating a possible connection between viruses,
Oh, really?
like herpes simplex and Alzheimer's.
Wait, the herpes virus?
Yeah.
Now, this is starting to sound like a sci-fi movie.
I know, right? It's still early days for this research, but some studies suggest that the herpes virus might reactivate in the brain
Wow.
and contribute to inflammation and neuronal damage.
Okay.
We definitely need more research to confirm this link, though.
Okay, so we got inflammation, vascular issues, gut microbes, protein misfolding, and even viruses potentially playing a role. It's a lot to take in.
Right.
But what does this mean for treatment and prevention? Are we just throwing darts in the dark here?
Not at all. This shift in thinking is actually opening up a whole new world of possibilities.
Interesting.
Remember how we talked about the importance of synapse preservation?
Oh, right.
The connections between neurons that allow them to communicate.
Those are critical for learning and memory.
Right, exactly. Well, researchers are now exploring ways to protect and even strengthen those synapses.
Interesting.
For instance, there's a molecule called BCI-838 that's shown some promise in animal studies.
Okay.
It seems to promote synapse growth and improve cognitive function. Wow.
In mice with Alzheimer's-like symptoms.
So it's like giving those brain connections a little extra support, helping them stay strong and resilient.
Exactly.
That's encouraging.
Yeah.
What else is happening on the research front?
Well, the National Institute on Aging, or NIA,
Right.
is really stepping up its game.
Okay.
They're pushing for a more diverse approach
Good.
to research, recognizing that we need to tackle this problem from multiple angles.
Yeah.
In fact, over 60% of clinical trials are now targeting non-amyloid pathways.
That's a big shift.
It is.
So there's a real sense of urgency to finally crack this Alzheimer's code.
Yeah.
What specifically is the NIA focusing on?
Well, they recently launched a $73 million initiative to accelerate drug discovery,
Okay.
particularly for drugs that target tau tangles and inflammation.
So specifically going after those.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's called the Audacious Goal Initiative,
Oh, wow.
and they're bringing together scientists from all over the world.
To collaborate and share their findings.
Wow, $73 million
Yeah.
dedicated to busting those tangles and tamping down that brain inflammation.
Right.
That's a serious commitment.
It is.
It sounds like the scientific community is finally recognizing the complexity of Alzheimer's and the need for a more comprehensive approach.
Absolutely. And another really exciting development is the growing recognition that Alzheimer's might not be a single disease,
Yeah.
but a spectrum of conditions.
Interesting.
Just like cancer has different subtypes,
Right.
Alzheimer's likely has different underlying causes and requires different treatment approaches.
So instead of a one-size-fits-all solution,
Right.
we're moving toward personalized medicine,
Exactly.
tailored to each individual's unique situation.
Uh-huh.
That's amazing. But how would that even work in practice?
Well, imagine a future where we can use biomarkers from blood tests or brain scans
Right.
to identify the specific biological processes driving an individual's cognitive decline
Right.
based on that information. Doctors could then prescribe a customized cocktail of therapies that target those specific pathways, whether it's inflammation,
Right.
vascular issues, or tau tangles.
Wow, that's mind-blowing.
Yeah.
But knowing all this, I can't help but wonder, what steps can we take now to protect our brains and potentially reduce our risk?
That's a great question. And while we wait for these research breakthroughs to translate into widespread treatments, there are some practical steps you can take to potentially reduce your risk.
Okay, lay it on me. What can we do today to make a difference?
Well, managing your blood pressure is absolutely crucial.
Okay.
High blood pressure can damage those delicate blood vessels in the brain, increasing the risk of cognitive decline.
Right.
You know, it's like keeping the brain's plumbing system in good working order.
Got it. Keep that blood pressure in check. What else?
Cognitive training is another powerful tool. Think of it like exercise for your brain,
Right.
challenging it to stay sharp and adaptable.
Yeah.
Plenty of brain training apps and programs are available.
Sure.
Or you can engage in activities that require mental effort, like learning a new language or playing a musical instrument.
So keep those synapses firing and those neural pathways strong. I love it.
Yeah.
Anything else we should be adding to our brain-boosting routine?
You bet. Regular physical exercise is incredibly beneficial for both physical and cognitive health.
Okay.
It improves blood flow to the brain, reduces inflammation, and can even stimulate the growth of new brain cells.
Wow. Oh.
Aim for at least 30 minutes of moderate intensity exercise most days of the week.
Okay, so we've got blood pressure control, cognitive training, regular exercise. Those are all things we've heard before, but now we understand why they're so crucial for brain health. Anything else we can add to our arsenal?
Absolutely. And this one is especially important. Consider volunteering for clinical trials.
Oh.
It's a fantastic way to contribute to scientific progress and potentially gain access to cutting-edge treatments.
Right.
Plus, you'll be helping pave the way for a brighter future for everyone affected by Alzheimer's.
That's a powerful call to action. Even though Alzheimer's research is still evolving, we're not helpless bystanders.
Right.
We can take proactive steps to protect our brain health.
Exactly.
And contribute to the search for effective treatments.
Yeah.
It feels like we're on the verge of a major paradigm shift in how we understand and treat Alzheimer's, moving away from that laser focus on amyloid to a more holistic, multi-pronged approach.
It's a truly exciting time to be following this field.
It is.
And connecting this back to the bigger picture.
Yeah.
It's a reminder that the brain is an incredibly complex organ.
Right.
Alzheimer's, like many diseases, is likely the result of a complex interplay of genetic, environmental, and lifestyle factors.
So it's not just about finding that one magic bullet. It's about understanding the whole ecosystem of the brain.
Exactly.
And how to keep it healthy throughout our lives.
And that brings us back to the importance of prevention.
Right.
What's fascinating here is that many of the steps we can take to reduce our risk of Alzheimer's, they're things that are good for our overall health anyway.
It's a win-win.
Exactly.
We get to live healthier, more vibrant lives and potentially reduce our risk of this devastating disease.
Precisely. And as research continues to evolve, we can expect even more personalized and targeted interventions in the years to come.
Well, to wrap up our deep dive into the ever-evolving landscape of Alzheimer's research, it's clear that we're entering a new era of understanding.
Absolutely.
An era where a more comprehensive approach, focused on multiple pathways and personalized treatments, holds the potential to finally make a real difference in the fight against this disease.
And this raises an important question for you to ponder.
Okay.
If Alzheimer's is more complex than we thought, what other surprising discoveries might be waiting just around the corner? Keep exploring, keep learning, and keep those brains engaged.
That's all the time we have for today's deep dive.
Okay.
I hope you found this exploration into the latest Alzheimer's research as fascinating as we did.
I did.
Until next time, stay curious.